Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream for this little bit of news that has come out this morning. I mentioned in the video that I made at about 8 a.m. Was it 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. that I released this one? I don't know. That Leeds United were very, very close to going something with Anton Stach. This news had come from Twitter source who was fairly reliable, and a lot of people were like, this is clickbait, all that kind of stuff. However, we got the news earlier from Florian Plettenberg on Twitter, who is a very, very reliable, reputable. That's the one. The P rather than the F makes all the difference in that sentence. A reputable source from Germany that, he's agreed contract terms with Leeds United, which is a very, very positive sign. I'm just going to pull up the tweet now just to show off. I've accidentally closed Twitter instead of popping it open, which is a little bit of a mistake. Let's give it another look. Give me a second. There we go. Cool. Let's zoom in a touch. F11 it. There we go. Head over to second monitor. There we go. So, Leeds have not signed, personal terms with Anton Stach. Negotiations with TSG Hoffenheim have already started, but there's no agreement yet. So, doing bids will get there, but not quite yet. It's going to take a little bit of time, because all of these deals do, because they're not just things that you can just click your fingers, it all works out. TSG are currently demanding 20 million euros plus add-ons. This is not too far from the figures that were being discussed last week, where we sort of had the idea that the asking price was going to be £17 million. That would be the 20 million euros. Add add-ons to that, it's probably going to come to the sort of 25 million euros sort of territory, so roughly 20 million quid-ish, which isn't too bad, which if you're looking at the discussions that were happening earlier in the window, which were Leeds will have a budget of 35 million per position, Stach 15. No, Longstaff 15, Stach 20. Fits within the budget, it's all starting to add up now. The 26-year-old central midfielder is under contract until 2027. Hoffenheim have received several inquiries, not only from Leeds. However, we are the only ones that thus far have advanced to this stage of the conversation, where something will go on. Dan, I see what you're saying. I see what you're meaning. I don't agree with the sort of general, nuttiness that is going on around the entire vibe, though, because, I kind of get it. If other clubs find out that we've agreed a deal with Anton Stach, then other clubs that were potentially interested would be like, cool, I want to sign him too, which makes things a little bit trickier for us, obviously, but it's fine. Yeah, I do hope we get it done, Garrett, because that would make it absolutely wonderful, and it would be a very, very big step forward for us at the moment. Just to answer Reisel's question as well, that popped up before the chat bar decided to do anything. The Creator Cup stream will be starting at around 12:30, I believe. It might be a little bit earlier just to do a little bit of sort of countdown stuff. Yeah, we're going to play the game Countdown, actually, whilst we're there, which is going to be absolutely wonderful. But yeah, it'll be 12:30. And on that note, if you've not got your tickets yet, just scan that QR code. It'll take you to the right place. It'll be great. Or subscribe, because for every subscriber there's going to be 1p donated to Prostate Cancer UK. Anyway, I've moved on from the ad read now. I will get back to doing more of those at some point soon, but right now I'm going to treat myself to not doing it too much, because I have a very big day today, specifically focused around I'm ripping up the floor downstairs and replacing it, which is fun. I think if we get Stach, he'll join up with the team in Germany. Maybe. There's a thin chance that if we do get Stach, it'll be a confirm the signing this week if we are able to get the signing done this week, and I don't see why it would be a good idea for us to not have him available in Stockholm, just because any sort of deals or anything that we do is going to be at least ahead of the match against Scum. There's going to be a big expectation of, okay, let's see them against Scum, which is going to be a challenge in and of itself. But I think, yeah, if we get the opportunity, I think it will be a case if he comes to Stockholm. If not, it will be a meeting up for the pre-season tour. Lord the Curse the Commentator, I love Leeds lately, but the minute Max puts out a video about how good someone is, he goes up to Everton and I get my hopes up. What? Who did Max make a video about? I'm curious about this. Let's have a look. Half 9 played today. Let's see if he's in the team. He won't be. If he is, sure, but I don't know. I wouldn't use it as a judge of what's going on. But yeah, I mean, I think with the reports being this wide about Stach potentially looking for a move is nuts. So, hold on. I really need to sneeze. And I think if I stare at my ring light, it'll drag it out. But, oh, it's not coming. I like it. While you guys are really pushing on, I might be right. You guys have got a chance of surviving. Wish I put a bet on. You still can, if you want. Yeah, I think adding Stach is going to be huge. Adding Longstaff was also huge, because we know that Longstaff can do quite well in the Premier League. For example, and this is specifically calling out my own comment section, because my own comment section has some takes sometimes. Someone saying, why are we signing Premier League players deemed unwanted by other Premier League teams? That would be because you're not going to sign the players that those teams want, because they want them, because they don't have to sell them. Like, it's okay. Like, the reason that they are for sale is because they've got other players in that position and they're not going to play right now. That's it. That's the extent of it. And it's not a case of those players are automatically bad. It's a case of they're not as good as Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and Joe Linton, which is a very hard list to get your name onto. So I think Longstaff, very good signing. Stach, very, very good signing. I think the fans are ready for statement signings now. I think I agree, but also there's nothing wrong with the way that we've been building at the moment. The way that we've been doing things has been centre-backs, sorted, cool, let's move forwards. Full-backs, are we sorted? Cool, let's move forwards. Longstaff, Stach, sorts the central midfield. Brilliant, wonderful, now we move forwards. And that's when we're going to get to those statement signings, because we've been, throughout the window, gradually working our way through the squad to make sure that we are solid at the back. And then do we have the creativity in the midfield? And do we have the solid defensive midfielder? That would be Longstaff, Stach. Then the next step will be wingers, 10s, forwards. And if we are being effective and reasonably sort of considerate when we're going through these positions, we'll be fine. The fact of the matter is, by going through the cheaper signings first, you know how big the budget is for the final positions. If you signed your striker first at 40 million quid or something, sign a winger for 30, sign a number 10 for another 30, that's 100 million gone. Which means that you've got to sign 2 central midfielders, 2 centre-backs, a left-back and a keeper for 50. Which is tight. It's very, very difficult to do so within that space. So I think this is the better way of doing it, just because it gets the affordable positions out of the way first. I think Gruev will leave. I'm not convinced that Gruev will go, to be honest with you. I've seen a lot of the conversation sort of surrounding it and thinking like, oh, Ilya Gruev, he's on the way out. There's no way that he sticks around with this many midfielders. A lot of the time we might need to play 3 in the midfield, which I've got no issue with. Like, without a number 10, cool. I don't think there is a need to get Gruev out. I think Gruev is a pretty damn effective midfielder. And I think the ongoing sort of idea that he isn't is very weird to me. Because we know that he can do his job. And that's sort of ultimately what you need. Good day, Nkata. Or Kata. I can't... Sorry, I'm not very good at specific pronunciations. Excluding the goalkeeper, how many more signings do you think we need and what positions? Winger, striker, 10. 3. That'll do it. Not Prem level. You can't know that, though. That's the thing. Last time we went up, with that squad that we had under Bielsa, we were like, none of these players are Premier League level. Marcelo Bielsa has taken a mid-table championship side, and once we get promoted, we're in trouble. And then we got promoted, and our best players were Stuart Dallas and Pat Bamford in the first season that we came up. So it's, yeah. I mean, I'm not that worried because you don't know how good a player is in the Premier League until they have played in the Premier League. Got to remember, Gruev was playing in the Bundesliga, which is not a bad league at all. We don't need 6 or 7. Saying 6 or 7 is honestly madness. If you could run me through which positions we need filling with that 6 or 7, let me know. But Stach comes in, who drops to the bench out of Ampadu and Snackers. I think Longstaff starts as an 8. I don't know if anyone does. I think 2 8s and a 6 works pretty damn effectively, because there were times last season where Aronson dropped in and played as an 8. Goalkeeper, fine. Fullback, you've not specified which, but fair enough. Centre mid, that is going to be covered by these two. It's going to be Stach and Longstaff. Cam, we know, is a point of discussion. Striker, winger, I think I agree. Yeah, so the only one that you've got in addition to me is a fullback there, which is not too bad. It's just I think I'm considering Longstaff and Stach as basically already done, because like we've signed a deal with Stach, or at least we've agreed terms. It's not signed because obviously we've not agreed with the club yet. But I'm considering Longstaff done, and I'm considering Stach done. So I think, yeah, between us there's only a gap of 1 in terms of what needs to be confirmed by the club. Have to remember some players need to move on as well. Yes, the depth charges, as I'm going to start calling them, because they are depth, but they will blow up in our face. Being Gelhardt, Greenwood, JB. JB is not necessarily a needs to be sold, but it would be ideal. Who else? Melier probably needs to go. I'm still in favour of keeping Pat around, I'll be honest. Nothing's done until the money is agreed with the club. This is true, yeah, but I'm optimistic, I think. And it shows that Stach doesn't want to be there anymore, which means that Hoffenheim are likely to want to make that move happen because they might as well get some money out of him rather than have a grumpy player. Leeds should stop the Jack Harrison hate. I admit it's best for everyone if he's sold, but it's not his fault if Leeds gave him a bumper deal. He agreed to help the club by going to Leicester City. All of that much I agree with. Like, the end of the Orta tenure, the club were dicks to Jack Harrison. That's not a question. However, since then, there was no need for him to continually say, don't want to be at Leeds anymore. And there's no need for his mum to say, yeah, it was nasty back at Leeds. There's no point. You don't need to do that for a club that you are still contracted by. That's insanity. It's stupid. It's bad PR. So, for that reason, I'm sort of like, right, okay, I don't like Jack Harrison. Because he's very, very consistently not been the wisest. O'Reilly from City. I've forgotten who O'Reilly is. Is he the left back? Right back? Yeah, left back. Yeah, I think on loan that wouldn't be a bad move. But there's a bit of a question around it, I think. Harrison is also not good. I think Harrison isn't not good. I think Harrison is a known quantity, and we know that we could do with better, is the way that I'm going to put it. Leeds has not been the wisest at that time as well. No, but this is a different time. I'm talking about the time that is after him heading to Everton. So he heads to Everton, fine. Do your thing. Would have preferred him to go permanently because it would have helped more financially, but cool, whatever. It's the point at which, having gone to Everton, he's just sort of doing the whole, yeah, actually, I hate it at Leeds. Leeds is rubbish. Oh, it's a big, smelly place. Like, no, stop digging yourself a hole, because the more you do this, the more of a problem you're going to cause for everyone, including yourself. Hello, Darren. How are you doing? Hoping good. Would you be happy if you spent big on a 9 and 10 and start with Darlow? Don't know. My issue with Darlow is when he's got the ball at his feet, he is unreliable when being pressed. Which everyone and their dog has pointed out since we got promoted. You don't have as much time in the Premier League. That isn't just true for outfielders, because everyone points that in the direction of Ilya Gruev. Will be squeezed and they will still be in trouble. And I don't know if Darlow has the sort of ability with the ball at his feet to deal with that problem, which is something that is a little bit of a concern. So for me, yes, you can spend big on a 9 and a 10, but you need to make sure there's enough flexibility in the budget to not be starting Carl Darlow. He's not the worst goalkeeper, like, in terms of with his hands, decent enough to make stops. Fantastic. But the concern kicks in when it comes to the rest of his game, which is fine, and that's going to happen sometimes, but I would much rather that we be a wee bit safer. I think Darrell Alex will stay new number 1 and maybe loan Melly out to try and increase his value. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. That'd be okay. Cairns is just here for the vibes. Cairns is here for the squad. He's here to sort of add a little bit of safety. I have a feeling Senna Lamans will be the new keeper in the press. Yes, I've seen a little bit about Lamans. So I'm going to have a little bit of a deeper dive into him. But his underlying stats are honestly a little bit ridiculous. So every single game, right, and I keep hitting this stat because it's an interesting stat. Post-shot XG, which is the likelihood that any given shot goes through you, minus goals against, which is if a goal actually does go through you. So per match, this adds up and adds up. So if you've got 1.5 post-shot goals against, post-shot XG against you in a match, you concede one, you've overperformed by 0.5. Brilliant, fantastic. That's not something that is continually sustainable, because those are insane numbers to manage to pull off. Until you start to take a look at Senna Lamans. Because if I just zoom in a little bit on his scouting report here and go to monitor 2, on average, his average game is 0.5 XG over performance, which means that every other game he will have saved you a whole goal compared to what he was expected to, which makes him basically the best in Europe. Let's have a look. Yeah, he is the best in Europe, along with Colin Koosmans. I don't know who Colin Koosmans is, but we'll have a look in a moment. Save percentage, top 2%. Crosses stopped, top 1%. He's a very, 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 very good goalkeeper. Keeps it relatively short as well. Average length of goal kicks is very short. Clean sheet percentage, not great, but that's more based on the club that he's playing for. Very good player. Which, let's have a look at Koosmans. Koosmans, also quite good. Where do you play? You at Ghent? I was born in Ghent. He plays for Anderlecht. Yeah, Koosmans, similar numbers, but the places he looks better are mainly because he plays for Anderlecht rather than playing for whoever other lad plays for. Let's have a look. I've not had a proper look at Lamans yet. Antwerp. Yeah, I think Lamans from Antwerp would be a very, very nice signing. Wonder if you've considered Dubrovka. He did well getting us out of a relegation scrap. It'll be a case of been considered, but we're maybe trying to look a little bit, I don't know, someone that is playing fairly consistently at the moment, which Dubrovka necessarily isn't. So like a Lamans, we were looking at Petrovic, like a Dachman, like a Perry, when we were looking at Vanja Milinkovic-Savic as another example. There's a decent list of goalkeepers that we're looking at, and they are all players that have been playing very, very recently, just to make sure that they're in the shape that we need them to be in, which is, I think, wise. Anyway, right, I'm gonna do a little bit of a, let's say, $17 million gun. Leeds and Man United have been in contact. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stream for another couple of minutes. If anyone has any questions about absolutely anything, just pop them in the chat and we'll have a little bit of a discussion about them. But to sum up, Leeds United are at least agreed for personal terms with Anton Stach, which is ultimately what is kind of important, because if a player wants to come, then that's fantastic. We don't know the specific numbers on it, we don't know the length of whatever that contract will be, but we know that it is very likely to be on the way at some point in the future. Cost would be 20 million euros plus add-ons. Don't know what the add-ons specifically are going to be, but we'll find out. 1 second. My estimate would be we won't end up paying more than 25 million euros, which is fine. Which is the sort of number that you want to be like, okay, cool, this is our ceiling, let's not go past the ceiling. And I'm quite happy that Leeds are doing that at the moment. But I'm going to bring the stream to a close there. So, just to answer Danny's question, actually, I don't know. I've been told by the gaffer wherever I want, because I've organised the event, but for a lot of it, it will be commentary box. Because Zinny Boswell just tweeted if he's been agreed unless I'm reading it wrong. Who is a Zinny Boswell? What is a Zinny Boswell? I'm going to have a very quick look before I finish at that. I've never heard of Zinny Boswell. No, that's not saying that the fee's been agreed. That's saying a rough estimate of what the fee is going to be. It's the contract that is agreed. So it's fair. Zinny Boswell does sound like a... Specifically, Zinny Boswell sounds like a baddie in a kid's film. Definitely a fake account. Look how many he's following. What does that have to do with it? Because at the same time, like, tons and tons of people follow various other people. I'm not going to jump to the fake account because of that. Hey, my trail's gone cold. Does that mean we're going to swoop? I kind of hope not. Like, I know a lot of people like Gus Hamer. I don't think he's what we need right now. But a lot of people do, and that's your opinion to have, which is fair enough. But I'm personally going to land on the side of I would much rather we don't end up making that move. Just for our own sanity, to be honest. Phil Sky can see his articles published, he's just new at the job. Yeah, that's fair enough. Anyway, I'm going to bring the stream to a close there because I need to go and rip up the floor downstairs and I need to replace it with another floor. On the subject of doing menial tasks, there's a button down there. It says subscribe on it. If you haven't yet, please do so. For every subscriber that I've got, at the end of the charity match on the 20th of July, I'll donate another 1p to Prostate Cancer UK. That number just crossed 66 quid. If you guys can miraculously push me to 7,000 subscribers by that date, then I might add another chunk to it because, fuck it, it'll be a fantastic day. I'm looking forward to it. And you can get tickets as well. Using this QR code or the link in the description, and you can also donate, which is also in the description, I believe. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed the stream. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.